Hey everybody! Look, we're in the same place at the same time. Isn't it amazing? It's like the best thing ever. Oh my gosh. It has been actually a week of seeing more people in person than I have for a very long time. So I am loving it. And we're going to talk today about how we can integrate these expansions that happen with some balance and create stability when we are faced with more possibility that can sometimes be kind of overwhelming. So I'm Aurora Light. I'm here with my amazing soul sisters and dear friends, Infinity and Radiant Soul Nicole, and together we are the Radiant Evolution Collective. Yeah, we gave ourselves some superhero names. Why not? So what's been happening for you ladies lately? What's been going on?
A lot. Life feels like full on again. It is pretty wild. So much expansion as I step into new roles in work and healing and doing all the things, visiting vacations, all this stuff. It just feels like a lot. And today I was like, oh, I need to, actually, last night I realized I needed to give myself this morning before we had our lovely meeting I laid in bed and I watched some YouTube videos and did a meditation and actually had a nap because I needed that integration time after doing so much. And it's interesting to notice how you listened to me before, you've heard me talk about being a human doing and becoming a human being. And it was really a lot easier to be a human being during the pandemic and a lockdown. And now that we're doing more things again, it's been a challenge to like not jump back into that like do burn myself out old pattern. And I have to remind myself that I now have tools and I don't need to jump back into that just because the way things were doesn't mean that that's how I have to be. So that's what's up for me.
Yeah, and I know you wouldn't mind me speaking into this, but there was like almost some fear of going back to that old pattern that was coming up for you.
Yeah, in the past couple of weeks, I was definitely feeling that. Definitely at the beginning of July, that was like felt more anxiety around that, and thanks to your support, I was able to move through it. Um, but still, it's still kind of coming up again, and I think it's just as we expand into these new versions of ourselves, we get to play with that like rebalancing and finding that harmony again in our life. So it's like watching my daughter grow. She's going through a growth spurt and she's getting taller and then she loses her balance and she falls way more often and she needs to recalibrate. And that's like that's what humanity is going through right now.
A new center of gravity. Yes, I love that. And as a short person, I have not had as many experiences of that. I don't want to look over here. I feel like I'm sure you've had that experience, but I'd love to hear it too. What's it been like for you as where we are, things are opening up again and you are way busier than you have been for the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Yeah, like you can't tell as much, but I'm maybe I have a long torso, but I'm considerably shorter than you.
Um, on the side note, actually, I've been meeting some people recently that I have only met online and got to be friends with online or did programs with, some within your programs. And somebody was like, "You're a lot taller than I expected, or than I thought you would be." And she's like, "But not that I thought you would be short." And I've met some people in the last week at different live events, and I was like, "Oh, this person's shorter than it seems, or this person's taller." So, I want to meet people online in that space. Beautiful. Amazing to behold people in 3D real life.
Yeah, right. We're actually real people. I've had the same experience of meeting people that I've only met online, quite a few lately. That some of them I've spent, upwards of 30, 40 hours in ceremony or sessions. And so you do know their essence and they're exactly the same, but yeah, maybe a little taller.
And not on the screen.
And they're not on a screen, they're in like the physical essence. Yeah, so you've been able to meet up with a lot of people and you've been busier. So how have you been navigating that expansion into more people and busyness and opportunities while still staying centered and grounded and aligned?
um, there's just like all this opportunity to see all these people and do all the things, and there's this desire, like this, Leo season now. Yeah, I want to do all the things. There's this fire. Let's go out and be social. But then I was realizing the last few days, I was like, wow, it's been a very full week. It's time to have a day, or at least like a good chunk of a day tomorrow to just not talk to people. Because I can be pretty introverted, but I can still also be pretty extroverted. I'm ambivert on the scale.
Me too. What about you?
I think I probably am, but I think I might be more introverted after this past couple years.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to do the quiz again, because I did the Myers-Briggs quiz and I was like 51-49. I don't remember which one was a little bit more, but super interesting to, yeah, just like notice where I am now as a milestone compared to how I was like years ago, because I actually started going through a 3-year-long winter. We talked about seasons, I think it was last week. So for about the last 3.5 years, I was going through this huge life change where a lot of things were ending. And there was this long like period of just sacred pause and integration. And, like almost like it was almost a little bit autumn-like as well, because I was gathering and harvesting all of the medicine over the last several years. And now I feel like I'm bringing it into a place of like sharing that abundance and that overflow. But yeah, I'm noticing now as I'm out and about in social situations, I'm like, I feel like I can be more of me because of all of the all of the inner work that I've done, and like the 3-year-long winter that I thought would go I thought was ending a long time ago and it kept going on forever. But it's almost like this rebirth experience. So I'm really feeling in this sense of expansion, like woo, all these things, but then also this need for integration. So rather than thinking of it like expansion and contraction, but then honoring this expansion and the integration. And I always like to think of it as, once we've had experiences, once we've learned lessons, once we've done things out in the world where we've gathered that medicine, then it's time to integrate it. It's time to digest it. Like when we eat food, we put it in our face hole and it goes into our belly, but it doesn't fully become part of us, part of this being, until we've digested it and it's integrated into our body. So sometimes there's like those sacred pauses that are needed where it's important to come into stillness, like you were sharing you did this morning, Nicole. Tomorrow I'm just going to plan to have some time to take a bath and walk in the forest and just to be more silent, because there's been a lot of talking, there's been a lot of busyness, a lot of connections. So just like really honoring the patterns, honoring the waves in my body and my energy, getting better at that, because like you were sharing also, Nicole, there's this instinct to like want to do all the things, and also learning, okay, not to push into the burnout.
That's an essential lesson. Most people, I think, especially if they're entrepreneurs, go into that like push, do all the things, gotta grind, and then wind up being burnt out and then can't do all the things. And maybe it's not just entrepreneurs, but this happens to most people at certain points in their lives. It's just really, really prevalent with entrepreneurs who are trying to do everything themselves. I am better at this now too. I think having a child really helped me slow down enough to not be wanting to do all of the things because I want to be present with her. But as a person with a ton of fire energy in my chart, like I love to do all of the things. And there's only so much that we can do without coming out of balance. And speaking into what you were just saying, the expansion and then integration cycle used to feel to me like a crash. Like I would go to these retreats or festivals or sessions and I just had these amazing, expanding, uplifting experiences. And then I wouldn't build in the integration time. And I would just go back to my regular life. And then I'd be like, oh my God, why is everything so hard and horrible? And I don't feel that amazing way anymore because I was burnt out from not giving myself the integration time, from not giving myself that. He wants to be part of the party. You move a little bit. Get your butt out of the screen. You're distracting. Okay, she's like not gonna want to, but here. All right. So this is normally the time in the afternoon where she comes and asks for pets and tries to stay on my lap. So she'll probably just want to hang out with the girls, get that connection time in, or maybe step all over you too. I would feel like there was something wrong with me. Have you ever felt that? Especially when you were younger and you go to festival, you're like, I am now one with the universe and I will never be out of balance again, right? You think in those absolutes. You're just like, this is my forever now. I figured out life. I've achieved enlightenment, like all of those things. And then you go, boom, because the cat slid across my desk documents and stuff. It's fine. She'll just sit on it. It's fine. This is why my office door is often closed. So you're saying the integration process, if you don't consciously make space for it, it's going to make space for itself and it's going to feel like a contraction and like this terrible weight and you're just so burnt out by it. But as soon as I learned about the cycles and the need for integration, everything just became okay. And I'm still not awesome. I'm gonna get you out of this.
She's not.
I want to be part of this. I just don't know how yet. So she's probably telling me to stop talking, wrap up your story, but consciously making the integration time has changed the game for me. I'm not awesome at it. I will still have like a really busy weekend when I go, oops, I didn't really leave any extra time. So just today went to the gym and then I had all these meetings, but I had some stuff I had to do first. And so what I did was I gave myself just 20 minutes to lay after my shower naked in my bed under the blankets doing nothing. And I find that if I give myself that concentrated time to completely relax my nervous system and do zero, not scroll Facebook, not look at TikToks, not read, not listen to a podcast, but literally do nothing, it goes a lot more quickly. Mm-hmm. Right? So you're like the queen of being and integration. So like, tell us your secrets.
I don't recommend this, but getting a concussion helps a lot. So start listening before something like that happens is my major piece of advice. And
yeah, she did that, so you don't have to. You just listen to her words.
But I was already on that train before that. That was already like what I was working towards. And that's even funny that I said working towards because it's not like, but it is something. It's something that you have to do to build in new habits and change your mindset about things and consciously creating that time is so important. Like I was being open and to flow and changing and stuff with the different cycles is also so important. So on this on Saturday, I got my daughter to bed really early because I did all the things with her intentionally to tire her out so that she would be tired, not like difficult to put to bed. And she fell asleep at like minute. And I'm like, oh, now I have the evening and I'm feeling so good right now. What am I going to do? And I got my journal and I was going to do some stuff. And I'm like, oh, I just want to sit and look at the sky and listen to music. And I'm having that just immersive experience. And also I had incense going. So I was just really being present in the moment with my senses. And like, when was the last time that you just listened to music as an activity? Like that was the thing that you were doing.
Feels like a teenager.
Yeah. And it's such a beautiful experience to really just be immersed and enjoy it. I found it so relaxing. And so I don't know if this is something like that would answer this question for all of the time, but it's a really nice way to practice being present. And it's like bringing your, I know a lot of times in yoga classes, I've heard people say like bringing your yoga off the mat, like bringing your meditation practice off the mat, so to speak. And allowing yourself to be present in everyday activities that you're doing. was just really such a beautiful experience. And I made a really beautiful playlist, so I can share that later if anybody wants to hear this beautiful listening music. It's called, or the style is Organic House. And I made a playlist called Organic Fair Trade House because I thought that was funny.
I now follow you on Spotify because your lists are both of them. It's amazing. I don't like, yeah, search them on Spotify, follow them because you want grooves to just live with and integrate into your being. I think that's just so perfect. You guys select those tracks that will weave themselves into like a soundscape of beingness.
Yeah. Finding music is one of my favorite things ever. Release Radar, like that playlist that's like specialized to yourself, comes out every Friday. That's always like Christmas morning for me. Yeah. Something that I've been doing a lot of lately is just in those in between moments where maybe I have something that I'm moving on to the next in life. You know, people that are counting on me, an appointment of some sort. And I don't really have a moment to, be like, I'm just gonna take the day off or take an hour. Like it's in the moment where I'm moving on. I will breathe. It's like such an amazing way to come into the present, come into the body, and then also come into the nervous system. We have been doing a lot of these, you do it 4 or 5 counts, but you breathe in for 4 or 5 or even 6, and then out for 4 or 5 or 6. You want to match the inhale to the exhale, and really like breathe into this part of the body. So underneath the rib cage, a lot of times people think deep belly breath and it's like expanding into the belly, which is one type of thing, but for this particular type of called heart rate variability breathing. We're breathing into this part right here.
You guys all trying this? Because we are too. It's working.
Yeah.
You can just like lead us through maybe.
Yeah.
Like.
Absolutely. I'm also going to tell you before we do why it's awesome. So it's great to come and soothe the nervous system, which helps with anxiety, which helps coming into the body because oftentimes we're up here, we're thinking in the mind, helps us to come into the body, helps us to come into the heart.
You're a little bit hard to hear. Can we maybe bring this closer?
Oh,
Oh, let's get closer.
Squishy day.
Hopefully that helps. Yeah, so you've got your hands on your rib cage, just beneath your rib cage, and then just breathe as if you're going to expand your ribs. Now I'm going to count in 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. If you have your eyes closed, just noticing how you're feeling. What sensations are in your body. Feeling more still. Feeling like it just goes down a notch, more into the body.
I was just wondering if Nat can hear us better now. So I wasn't fully like sinking in because I'm like, oh, you're getting quiet again.
I got some hearts going up when we moved in closer, so I think maybe that was some hearts for us being louder, but I'll also try to talk louder too. I am feeling much more present though.
I'm just excited that we're like in like cuddling distance basically now. So this is much better. Thank you, Nat.
Thanks for the feedback. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I actually meant to ask, but then we just got trapped into connecting and talking and just being live. Now that live is more of a thing, we could get a mic that would be a little bit better. You can help us set that up.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of fun things that we are planning And so we wanted to get together to do some of that planning instead of doing it over Zoom, which is amazing. Love technology.
So
But
grateful for it.
so grateful, but we are poised at the brink of this expansion for all of the things that we're doing. And most of it still is online, though some in-person stuff is going to be coming through. But we have been planning out our August and our fall in the playground and with other places that we are bringing forward some really fun programs. We're going to be delving into Gaia tomorrow live in the playground, where I'm going to be like channeling through a bunch of questions that people are asking. So that's going to be really fun, because our theme this month has been working with Gaia and glowing up our nurturing of our like self-care. And these integration practices are basically key to everything. But as well as just making it so we don't burn out, there's another reason why we want to do it. And it's basically because that'll bring you back into alignment with your highest self, with your body, mind, heart, and soul, so that you can continue doing the things you want to do and continue the expansion, the evolution, the growth. Now I'm like whacking them talking with my hands. And speaking of intuition, that's what we've decided we're going to dive into next. And I'm so excited to be able to bring people on this journey into deeper connection with their intuitive senses, like all of the clairs, and because that's something that has changed my life. And I know that expanding your intuitions has been like one of the greatest things for you, because it is for everybody. And it's been fun to witness and watch the growth of all of our journeys. But we've got a lot of practices that have helped with that, right? And getting into the body and into alignment is the number one thing. If you can't hang out in your body because of anxiety or trauma or anything like that, in order to be able to connect with those higher dimensions, higher levels with your intuition, and also trust what's coming through and not have a bunch of distortion, you need to be able to get into that relaxed, clear field, so that when messages come through, you're quiet enough to hear them, right? But also to feel them, to see them, right? Like spending these times of integration. Just want to ask you, ladies, do you also notice that sometimes just things will drop in for you?
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like creating the space not only to calm the nervous system, but to have that alignment with the higher timelines, our trajectories, everything that we are here to do and be. When we have this space, for me, because I'm very clairsentient, and I know these ladies do that too. Sorry, clair cognizant. It just like drops in as this download of information, but it also gives us a space to feel things, to hear things, right? Like if we're going to hear our own thoughts, if we're going to hear our heart, if we're going to hear maybe guides or Gaia or other, dimensional beings, they will come through in those quiet spaces.
Create the space so that it can come through.
Yeah. So, I mean, we didn't plan this actually, but having our month with Gaia and with self-care and with integration, following up with an intuition.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, was intuitively, divinely guided.
What happens when you follow your intuition, people?
Yeah, it doesn't even necessarily come through that it's an intuitive hit until later, and you're like, oh man, I was on it. Yes, that's the other thing. Like, we want to support people in getting really comfortable in their bodies so that they feel like they can trust themselves and what's coming through and their movement and all of these practices like breathing. And we also do things like, I was going to say like breath work, which would be the same thing. But like movement practices, soul journaling, belief repatterning, light language, like all of our alignment practices, I feel like support us in getting into the flow and trusting like whatever is coming through to and expressing that, which is kind of the last step of the process of being intuitive, is you have to actually do things, right? Like you can't just wait for it to drop in and then never do anything with this gift you've been given. The universe will be like, well, she didn't open the package, she didn't open the gift I gave her, so I'm not really going to drop more in until you do something with that. Aligned action. Like this is why we have love to bring in all of the things. And programs are so multidimensional. Yeah. Oh, I don't think it's backwards though. What
It's
is
just, so I noticed this earlier, sitting on Aurora's table. So, you know, you're mentioning earlier, like the hustle culture, the, yeah, just kind of like our society being, telling us to always do more and more. And it says hustle, slay, repeat. And Aurora crossed it out. She crossed out hustle and she wrote align. I love that. Isn't that awesome? I love it.
I cannot take credit. I think I stole that from a Facebook meme. But it's so true. Like tying it all back into entrepreneurship, right? And to creation. If you're just grinding, you were just gonna, like, what would happen if you just ground anything? It's gonna literally disappear, right? There will be nothing left. We are those things that you've been grinding. So when people tell you to grind, like,
Grinding has never felt good to me. It's like that's what I've been trying to get away from. Like, hustle and grind, that it feels gross in my body to even
We need the
consider
time. We need the time to take action, but we also need the time to flow. And it's that beautiful balance between the feminine and the masculine, where the masculine holds this container, creates the space, it's the structure. So it's like you're waking up in the morning and looking at your schedule and you're like, this is what I'm gonna do today, but then also leaving that space to flow and leaving that time in your schedule to be like, oh, you know, I have the space open. What I'm gonna do right now, I feel like playing in the river valley and going for a walk and connecting with that. Or I feel like drawing, not having everything so structured and like filled to the point where there's no space for those, you know, insights to drop in, and all the hustle and all the grind and none of the flow, none of the play. Because we also need that time to raise the vibration so that we can then get the next download and be full to be able to give to the world. I know so many of us are here to serve, right? So if you're watching us, you probably are, and we also need to be giving ourselves what we need. And it's an old paradigm that we need to, you know, it's like the martyr archetype of like giving and us not having. We get to just start and create all of that and step into filling ourselves up first so that we have more to give.
getting a download right now that's dropping in about this terminology about time and how you spend your time or invest your time. I think is such a big, I'm spending my time doing this. That feels kind of heavy and yucky a little bit.
Limited, because you might only have so much to spend. Or you do. Time is a finite resource in this realm.
If you're investing your time into something that will grow and expand and it feels so much more expansive. So when we're investing our time doing something, so maybe this is dropping in because maybe people are like, hey, I don't feel like I can spend time on myself, but it's not that spending, it's flipping it and seeing it as an investment in you. It's an investment in your business perhaps, and in all the things that you do in your life. You need to give yourself that time, invest in yourself so that you have the infinite wellspring from which to share your magical gifts.
Investing time to set aside the 20 minutes to rest or to, meditate, lay on the bed, walk in the forest, come to be with us in ceremony, whatever else like it lights you up to be, creating space for the devil to drop in and more attention to happen.
And if you're watching this and you're like, but you guys are self-employed, you have this privileged position of being able to take 20 minutes in the middle of your day. Like, we have also been in positions where that wasn't the case, but we wanted to consciously create and cultivate something more nourishing for us, right? Like, few years ago, even when I was self-employed, actually, the idea of taking 10 minutes for myself in the beginning of the day was laughable, and I scoffed at my mentor, and I was like, I'm a mom, I have a business, I can't possibly. Lies, obviously, right? Because I could have gotten up 10 minutes earlier. It was something, right? But it was the stories I was telling myself. So I just want to invite you to, number one, know that you don't have to take a whole day. You don't have to be able to go out to the river valley in the middle of your workday to forest bathe right now. But you can consciously create and cultivate those pockets of time, those couple breaths, even if it's in the walk-in freezer of the restaurant that you're serving or cooking in, right? Like, been there, done that. And if it feels like what you're doing right now is not consciously aligning with what you want to do and be for your future, you can also allow this to be maybe planting the seeds of maybe a lifestyle of either entrepreneurship or something else might be what will give you that time, right? What will give you that space until we're able to completely, like recreate capitalism into the utopia that we're all waiting for, where we don't actually need to work. It's in the works. We're working on it. I mean, we'll still also want to have the ability to create, right? Our value is not based upon our production, but our creative essence will always want to do things, and being able to do that is so beautiful. So you are a conscious creator of your reality, and if you do not yet have time to invest in yourself in this way, first off, you can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's like the starting point. That's where I started.
Take 3 breaths.
You can take 3 breaths. You can do it while you're peeing, right? Like you can make time for this to drop in. And you can also ask the universe to support you in creating more of that space, right? I last year wanted to take this course. It's with MTVO. If you're familiar with Jason Estes, I've interviewed him before, and he's got like 100 amazing videos on YouTube you can watch that has incredible spiritual guidance. I wanted to take his course called Mastering Silence, and I waited for a year because I did not have the space in my life to take this course, almost a year, 10 months. But I set the intention a year ago to have the space, to have the stability in my life and the space that I could consciously create and cultivate for this program. We're going to be diving really deep into silence. So lots of meditation, lots of quiet time. So just because something isn't possible for you today doesn't mean it will be next year or even next month. Like, things can change quickly, especially if you are planting the seed with that heart, with a pure intent and desire, and you ask the universe to make it happen with you, right? Instead of trying to control the outcome, I didn't say, I'm going to take this course in a year and it's going to be because I do X, Y, and Z and I'm going to know what everything's going to look like. No, it was like, I want to have the space to do this course. I don't care how it shows up necessarily. I'm going to let that be the universal intelligence guiding me towards creating that space. So we co-created it together, and it happens over time. So please don't discount anything we're saying because you're not in the position to do it yet.
Surrender and trust. The key part of manifestation.
Yes.
So let it go. Already done.
Yes.
And then spirit realm and energetic realm, and let it materialize in the physical realm.
Yeah. And then also, if it doesn't, trusting that is in your highest and best good as well. Something even better is on its way. Exactly. And I don't think we were planning on talking about manifestation and creation and intuition today. We just wanted to talk about expansion and integration and all the fun stuff we're doing in the playground, but then it just naturally unfolded. And so that's what it's like being in the flow. Something even better will arrive for you beyond what your, conscious mind could necessarily tap into. It's that beautiful flow.
Getting out of your own way, getting out of your mind, getting into your heart, and being an open channel for whatever needs to come through to flow.
I'm so excited to and as well to share that in.
That'll be Amanda Quick in there. Do you want to just type into the comments for people that are watching live, just the link to the playground in case they want to check this out, in case you're like, ooh, I would like to be able to be in alignment and trust my intuition so that I can do all the things that I want to do. It's joyevolution.com /the-playground. And we'll put that in the notes for YouTube as well. And now we're on multiple screens and that's confusing. Also being live, it was like, do I look at the screen? Do I look at you guys? This is different. We're not on Zoom in different Brady Bunch pictures. We're here in the flesh. But we just wanted to speak into all of these things that we're creating, that we are expanding into, and also just offer these opportunities to connect, to breathe, and to create a little bit more stability to just enhance the foundation that you're laying for all of your beautiful creations. This is what we do. We speak the magic out into the world, and then we bring it back in and light ground it, huff it in, and honestly, it really helps. So when you feel or speak something that feels really important to you, really profound, or like you want to create it, just breathe it back in and like let it nourish yourself.
And that's creating like a micro space. It's a sacred pause. So one breath is all it takes.
Okay, I just want to share this thing because I think we probably have to wrap it up soon. But I just had this download of like being a receiver, and like a receiver that you plug in your like all your TV and your music and stuff to.
Mhm.
And so before, when I thought about receiving, I don't know. When I thought about it, like I am the receiver, like thinking about like I am that piece of equipment, I feel like I just have to tune it in, and then now I'm just gonna like wait for all these things to flow to me. So that was just a really interesting download I had because I gave myself time and space in the past couple of days to integrate. So I look forward to sharing what I am going to receive as I embody the receiver energy.
I know nothing about me either. I don't know what a receiver does. I was doing a receiver wait for the ball to get done.
I guess so.
We're waiting. Receive them, we can turn the ball or transmit the sound, or then you can take alignment inspired action. Robbie's asking if there's going to be replay. Yes, yes, it'll be in the playground, in the collective, on YouTube, all the places.
Yeah, after we're done being live, which will happen very shortly. But I just want to say that like that's a really important part of the integration process too, is opening to receive like the wisdom that you've been through, because after you have a big experience, like more things are going to drop in, more codes, more information from the people, from the cosmos, whatever. And if we are too busy, we shut off that ability to receive. So opening with those spaces, those quiet places, then you're going to actually let things land. And everything is already out there in this infinite multiverse, right? Everything is there. So it is really just a question of tuning in with your intention and your attention, and then opening up to receive. So
or imagining you are that cosmic receiver and it's all coming to you because it's tuned in and plugged into you already.
You're tuned to that station, that frequency.
Yeah, and the fastest way to attune yourself to any particular frequency is through play, sacred play. It is the fastest way that I know of to get into alignment with whatever it is that you want to be and do and have. So
that's why we've co-created the playground.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to do. So speaking of play, I am going to go pick up Charlie before it is too late from her exploration and discovery summer camp. And yeah, it was really fun to talk to you live in person.
Yeah,
So fun.
awesome. I also loved your like gentle background. So very
Oh,
nice.
yeah. Yes, I can't do that when we're on Zoom.
No.
All right, we love you all. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe so you can get more of whatever this is, because it's magical.
Lots of fun.
Bye, guys.
Bye.